Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Uh, I don't believe I've given you a flip through of these two little journals, so that's what we're going to do today. Just something simple. I'm feeling blah lately. I just don't have any energy back after whatever that was that I had. So I hope you enjoy this little flip through and hope it gives you some ideas. Now this one was the one you see it shining, the one I did a black heat emboss technique on for just the Scarecrow. And you can tell the difference. He's more set back into the corn shucks and everything. But this one, he kind of stands out. So I don't know. I think I like the one over here because this one lost a little bit of detail when the heat embossing kind of spread out and dried. Um, but I love the Poison Apples brand on here because of it being fall and you bob for apples, right? We have Beetlejuice, we have the spider, we got the date, we got the bats and the moon. So it's very fun. And this one was sort of it almost reminded me of corn cob. You can see the little kernels. But I didn't like it as much as I did this crackle. I really love the crackle. Now this one has a little bit of a different, it's got a glycerin tablet advertisement on it. A few different little guys here as opposed to there. But I love to put these little guys on here to fill in holes, to connect everything together, and that kind of thing. So we'll go ahead and look through this one first. And of course, you can see my little crow down there. Of course, he had to be in the cornfield with the other guy. Now, I mentioned on another video that I put this paper in here upside down. It's a crow. Didn't realize it was a crow until I put this stuff on the paper. And then it was too late. I'd already glued it down. So anyhow, here is a little journal card that's in the pocket. And I've got another little kind of I think it's a dragonfly with a moon on it. Now, I did add a little bit of extra. I should have inked around each one of these apples, but I thought that was a little too time consuming. I could put a little bit of black marker on there, which would really help. Let's do that real quick. I've got a little micron here, number 01. Let's just put a little black marker. Oh, yeah. That makes it stand out. It kind of keeps them separated from each other. Yeah. Let me put a little bit on each one just so nobody gets jealous. I need a little bit right there and there. Yeah. Now check that out. What do you think? I think it made a big bit of a difference. I didn't put any on this little guy, though. Now, I can also get in here. Where's my white? Here's my white jelly roll. Now, I'm kind of showing you how to delineate and make something stand out when it didn't stand out before. And you always have a shine mark on an apple. Oh, look at that. Look at that. You put it on the point, the highest point, the cheek usually, where you know that the sun or the light source is going to be hitting it. On the top, usually on the kind of upper right. There we go. Look how that made those come alive. I really like that. Okay. We got a crazy looking crow here, some more advertisements, and a lot of words. I did some stamping words and then a bunch of words that I was sent in Happy Mail. Some Craftly Haul things are in here. So it's a nice assortment. I want to thank everyone for coming to visit also. Thank you, thank you. Hope you enjoy this today. I'm a little, yeah. I'm a little, I love this old building. Looks like, I don't know, a schoolhouse? Could be a hotel as big as it is. Kind of reminds me of a mill. We have an old mill down just a couple miles from where we live. And that thing is huge inside. But at this point, that was years, decades ago that I went inside of it. because, here's some of our stenciling. But at this point, it's just like probably ready to fall in. But I think there was like 4 stories. You can see where the big millstone used to be. Now, I put a bunch of dark down below here, whether it was the scorched timber or the ground espresso. It could have been a combination of both. But it grounded those stems of the wheat. So there's another tip for you. Maybe this will be a little tip, kind of a tip video along with a flip through. And here we go with the stencil I used here. Now, sometimes you can go in here with 2 different colors of a stencil and really pull out some things. Now, I really like that I think I must have used ground espresso on this side, which is this one, the oxide. And it goes with the brown that's over here. Some of the other times I'll use Vintage Photo, which is a warmer color. So it just kind of depends on what you're wanting to go with. Now, this is sort of a wood grain, which I thought, with wood and the Scarecrow and all that kind of stuff. Now, this is the one. This must be the one I'd already had put together. But I did like the 2 corn stalks that came in that one stamp set with the Scarecrow. But you can see I put 2 stalks on my stamp block, and then I just used those. Now, this one's almost right over top of the yellow one. So I wanted to do them singly on the second one, and you'll see where that one looks so much different and better. They look more individualized and not be sticking together. Now, this little Art Deco one, I've always loved it because it looks like a little plant. And that's exactly why I stuck it in here. So there we go. And some of these others that had a white background, they came out of one of my paper pads. They're like that thin paper that's just like copy paper. But you can actually stamp on them and you won't see it come through. If you use regular copy paper and try to stamp on it, it will come through. You'll see it. So, like, I could have stamped right here and been okay because I had that to cover it. So, if you ever come across that, here's another hint. If you ever stamp something and then you see it on the other side and don't like that look and don't want it to be bleeding through, use something like a pocket, a side tuck kind of a thing to cover up that area that you can see from the other side. And here we have that. Now, this one was the one I put together because I didn't stamp these in the other one. But you can see my little bit of darkening that I put around the base here. That really helps. Now, the Vintage Photo that I, put on the back side of all of these goes with a lot of the different little fussy cuts that I had. So that's what really pulled it together. Now, this is beautiful. I love this old barn with the old hay field in front. See the tree coming in and what's left of the sun, I guess. That has to be the sun because it's like daylight. I've had some of you tell me that you like to hear my thought processes on why I do things and stuff like that. So that's what I'm hoping a little bit of this is going to be, besides just an old flip through. I mean, you've seen some of this already. But the reason I'm putting a lot of the different clusters kind of like this, a lot of them are like the rectangular size anyway. But the way I positioned them, I kind of, I have different sizes. Like you had 2 the same size or 3 the same size, that would be boring. So you want to have various sizes, various shapes. If you have rounds and ovals, that's excellent because that always adds softness and things to these straight lines that you may have on there. You want to try to get it with different colors that match each other. Like this little color really, really goes with the leaves up here. So it's pulling your eye up that way and making you think this is all one scene, one little storyline. It has eyeballs. Now, I don't know how to explain to you why I have eyeball on here, except CSI Crime Scene. I used to love to watch the original one of CSI Crime Scene all the time. And there was this one where I think it was a raven. I'm pretty sure it was a raven that had taken this dead body's eyeball because it was a beautiful, beautiful blue color. Because they like jewel tones and bright, shiny things. So this bird had taken his eyeball up to his nest, and the team had to climb up a ladder and up the tree actually, and get into the nest and find the eyeball and everything because they seen him fly off with it. Okay, anyway, maybe that's why I have that combination there. Oh my gosh. Okay, so over here we have like a little. It's almost like a little suitcase situation, if you want to think of it like that, where I've got things stacked on top of each other. And, and then I kind of just added these in there to kind of go with it. And it comes and brings out this yellow that's up here above it as well. And then I had to have a little bit of red because I had the red over here. So it would all kind of mesh. Got plenty of places in here right. There's my little Art Deco. I tried to do, like, that's probably the same exact page that the other one's on, but I chose to do it on the lower side so there'd be a difference. So there's another little thing for you. If you want to use that stencil and use it twice, just so you don't look like you're repeating yourself, do it in another location on the page. And then here's the rest of the corn stalks, which they're a little better off, but you can tell that that one and that one's the same exact. And then that one and that one. So I wasn't as happy. And sometimes you don't know that you're not going to be happy with something until you put it on paper. You have to put it down, put it on a sample piece or whatever you want to do, and see if you like the look of it. Do the auditioning. Everybody talks about auditioning. So that's what you want to do. Now, of course, here is that dark brown with that color, which I think goes together really well. Here's some more of the wheat. You know, the wheat turned out pretty good. I tried to wishy-washy it back and forth, and I only had the one piece, so I couldn't really double it up. I really like this purple. I thought that would go with, you know, Halloween. And there we go. There was something I was watching last night. What was it? Tried to watch a movie, but of course I fell asleep. I don't forgot what it was. That one had purple in it, so that's why I grabbed it. And then we got another thing of the... I'll come back in here and fix that, but I'll do exactly the same thing. My problem with this one, I had lines through it. I was just using a scrap, and it had the very end of the page, and it had lines. Now, here's a good example of using different kind of rectangular pieces, but they're all different. So that really adds in. Now, this color and a little bit of this background goes really good with what's over here. So I thought that really worked out well. Plus, some of this is washi tape up in here, and I thought that would just look good. You know, I needed to use it up as well, but got a little bit of orange in that one, pulling it all together. And then we've got that little deco guy back there. This is a little journal card with that on it. I really, really wanted to make some journal cards, like a tarot card kind of a situation. And I still may be doing that. I might just have to get all my stuff together and figure out what I can use to do that. And then I can put it in all these pockets. That's where I wanted it, the front and the back pocket of these little simple journals, so that it would have something. So I'm probably going to end up doing that. Now this one's a little different. It's got the 8 and then I got the 9 there. The spider's a little different. And like I said, some of these little guys here are different. But other than that, it's mostly the same. And we have a midnight kind of a thing here with a little bit of grunge. Of course, you know I love grunge. All right, and here's our apples again. And I used a little bit of washi tape on this one. I don't know, I was just using some up. No, that wasn't washi. That was, you remember me doing the dragon scale, the leaves? I had these little strips left over, and that color does not go with anything whatsoever, but I used it. I used it. The green definitely goes to the background. But anyhow, I didn't do any stenciling back here, which sometimes will add to the look, that if you do. Of course, you can see all of my yellow elements here kind of follow over to these yellow elements. And, of course, I've got the graveyard gates there with this one. This little thing, what is this? This is a card, I think somebody sent me. I can't remember if it was Tommy or Wayne, but maybe it was Wayne. He's always into the little creepy people. Aren't you, Wayne? Now, what is hastening powder? It's got it's from Crow's Feet Apothecary. It's fast acting. Summer be gone. Oh, it must be to make October come faster. Okay, I got you. All right. All right. I like to understand things too. It's another one of my little tips. Now, as you can see, I got a little bit of red flowing all around here. I got a little bit there, the number in the poison word, and these numbers over here. So it all kinds of goes together. There's Eye of the Toad Stew. That sounds delicious, doesn't it? Carter's Little Liver Pills. And we got a creepy poison, cursed hocus pocus. Yeah, creepy tree, which kind of reflects this creepy tree over here. Okay. And some of the same things are in this one as what was in the other. Now, I did not do the dark down here. You know, I don't always do the same thing in each one. Now, this doesn't have as crisp a line around the outside of all these letters. And I don't know if it's what happened there. I don't know what I did different, unless it was really wet. Yeah, I haven't understood that. It did it all the way through here as well. Now, this beautiful dark grungy red, of course, had to have this grungy spooky red, and there's a little bit on elixir as well. There's Hale's honey whorehound and tar. Now, Mr. Harry, bless him, he's already passed away. He's a Markham like me, and he lived over in Ashland, Kentucky. We'd go see him all the time. We would go to the library that had a little microfilm room up in Ashland, and we would enjoy ourselves up there talking to each other and looking through all this microfilm from newspapers. And Harry would always bring whorehound candy to suck on so he didn't get so dry, you know, while he's looking. And it's got a different taste. It's kind of a root beery kind of taste, but they say he would tell us that it was really good for sore throats and colds and things like that, that it would actually keep you from getting it. Here's another kind of a fuzzy stencil. So yeah, and I found it like at Hobby Lobby. It's up at the very front registers on some of the little, you know, 3 ways, 4 ways before you check out. If you're looking for any. If you got a place that has an old candy, you can find it there usually. Now this is sort of a orangey. It's not a red, it's more of an orangey color. So I thought that went really well with what you can see underneath of the crow there. Another beautiful old barn. Big old barn too. Look how tall that thing is. I don't see the sun, but I guess it's this light area right there. And then we got a spooky person that was from Gothic in the Belfry by Tracy Fox. And, of course, I put the red here. Don't have red anywhere else, but... And this is purple. So it was kind of like some of these areas, I kind of just used what I had. And that might have been one of the leftover pieces that I had at the very end. Here's our corn. And then we have a little bit of red and purple here that goes with that. These are a couple little spooky looking trick-or-treater guys. Look at them. Woo! And then, because it's kids, I put Tommy guns. I thought that would be something they might play with. I love this blue that comes in. got to start making me some more papers. About out. Now, see, this one, this is not the Ground Express. Well, I think it, I don't know. It looks like Ground Espresso, but it also looks like a little bit of Vintage Photo to me. I think it might be an extra, maybe I put Vintage Photo on there in 2 layers, and it made it extra dark. And then, like I said, I didn't put the dark around the bottom here. And I think that would add to the look. Got a little burlap over here, because, of course, burlap goes with hay and seed and everything else is in a barn. So that's kind of where I was going with here. Whatever, would go with a barn, a field, that kind of thing. This crazy looking crow. There's more crows around here. I think there's a couple of bats. I put eerie. This orange here goes perfectly with this background. Over here you can see beware. That has a little bit of the red that's kind of pulls. Not quite. It helps that it's got a little black in it, because that... I always learned in art class that yellow, red, and orange, your hot colors, your warm colors, are ones that you do not want to have as much of on a painting or anything like that, because they take over. They're just too bright. You want them in smaller quantities. So for this to have gotten that black in there really subdues that red a lot. So you can do something like that. Run a little bit of like Vintage Photo over it or something like that to dull down. Now, that's kind of what I did to this string that's out here. The string is actually really, really yellow. Look at that. But what I did is I run my Vintage Photo over it, and that really, really toned it down. Here is toadstool clippings, antidote for most kinds of poisons. I didn't know that. And I have these little strips on here. That was like little paper that Chastita sent me. It had a little bit of orange. It didn't quite go with this, but it's close. Now, these 2 little creepy twin ladies, I really didn't know what to do with them. So they're like a little journal card in here. And they're peeking out at you. We have pure dried beetles here. 100% organic. Well, I would hope so. Use mix with water in a spray bottle. Now, I don't understand that. A spray bottle? Okay, so there are those 2 little books. I gave you some of my reasonings as I went through, and some of my little tips and tricks and things like that. So I hope you really enjoyed that. And everybody have a great, great day. Thank you to all my subscribers and viewers. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.